everyone. Virgo, here's the thing nobody tells you about waiting. The waiting itself is not the problem. The problem is what you do with your hands while you wait. Do you clench them? Do you check your phone every few minutes? Do you rehearse conversations that haven't happened yet? Do you map out scenarios in your head, trying to predict every possible outcome so you won't be caught off guard? Or do you leave your hands open, relaxed, palms up, ready to receive whatever actually shows up, not whatever you demanded should show up? That difference, it changes everything. It changes the texture of your days. It changes the quality of your breath. It changes the frequency you broadcast to the world. And right now, the way you've been holding your hands, it's shifting. Not because you forced it, because you're tired. Tired of the clenching, tired of the vigilance, tired of waiting for the other shoe to drop. That tiredness is not a weakness, it's a door. Okay, so let me say something that might land strange at first. You are not late. You have never been late. The moments that felt like delays, like detours, like the universe forgetting your address, were not what they seemed. They were not punishments. They were not evidence that you were doing something wrong. They were the soil breaking down around the seed. They were the dark before the green. They were the necessary, invisible, unglamorous work of making sure that when something finally breaks through the surface, it has roots deep enough to survive the wind. Roots don't grow in daylight. They grow in the hidden places, in the pressure, in the quiet. You have been growing roots for months, maybe years. Not the kind you can see. The kind that holds you steady when everything above ground is shaking. That work is done now, not because you forced it, because you survived it. And survival, when it's done right, leaves you different, stronger, wider, more able to hold what comes without breaking. What's coming has a specific texture. It's not loud. It's not going to announce itself with trumpets or skywriting or a marching band outside your window. It's going to slip in through a side door you forgot you left unlocked. It's going to arrive wearing ordinary clothes, looking like just another Tuesday, just another conversation, just another moment in a string of moments that seemed unremarkable. And then halfway through that moment, something will shift. A sentence will land differently than you expected. A piece of information will click into place. A feeling will rise in your chest that you can't quite name, but that your body recognizes. And you'll realize this is it. This is the thing. This is the shift you stopped believing in. This is the surprise you didn't see coming because you were looking in the wrong direction. That realization will hit you not as a thunderclap, not as a dramatic revelation, but as a deep, settling relief. The kind that makes your shoulders drop 2 inches without you telling them to. The kind that makes you exhale a breath you didn't know you were holding. The kind that makes you smile, not because something funny happened, but because something right happened. Something that was always meant to happen finally did. Let's talk about the word miraculous. Not the Hollywood version, not the version where angels descend and the sky parts and a voice booms your name. The real version, the quiet version. A miracle is not a violation of nature. It's a glimpse of nature's deeper laws, the laws that operate when you stop thrashing and start allowing, When you stop trying to force the door and start noticing that it was never locked, just heavy. When you stop demanding that the universe prove itself to you and start noticing the proof that was always there, hidden in plain sight. A miracle is what happens when your internal frequency finally matches the frequency of what you've been calling toward you. Not because you begged, not because you performed the right rituals or said the right words, because you became. You became the kind of person who could hold the thing without dropping it. You became the kind of person who could receive without immediately worrying about losing. You became the kind of person who could say yes without already planning for the no. That becoming is the miracle. The external event is just its shadow, just its evidence, just the physical proof of an internal shift that already happened, maybe without you even noticing. You might be wondering what shape this will take, what form the surprise will wear when it arrives at your door. I'm not here to predict shapes. I'm not here to give you a list of things to look for that would set you back to watching, waiting, clenching, that would put you back in the old posture, the posture of someone who's trying to control an outcome instead of trusting a process. So I won't do that. Instead, I'll describe a feeling you'll recognize when it comes. The feeling of a puzzle piece that has been spinning in the air, not finding its place, spinning for so long you forgot it was even a puzzle piece, suddenly clicking in. The feeling of a conversation that starts one way, ordinary, unremarkable, and then takes a turn you didn't see coming, and ends somewhere you never expected to go. The feeling of a door swinging open just as you were about to knock, just as you were raising your hand, and you realize you don't have to knock because it was never closed to begin with. That feeling has a name. Surprise. Not the jarring kind, not the kind that makes you jump or scream or brace for impact. The welcome kind, the kind that makes you laugh because you were bracing for something hard and something soft arrived instead. The kind that makes you shake your head and say, of course, because in retrospect it was so obvious, but you couldn't see it until it was right in front of you. The timing of this has been working on you longer than you can trace. Every disappointment you thought was a detour was actually a course correction. Every closed door was redirecting you toward a hallway you couldn't yet see. Every person who left was making room for someone who could stay, or making room for you to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet without leaning on someone who was never going to hold you steady. You couldn't feel that at the time. The losses were too fresh, the confusion too thick, the pain too loud. All you could feel was the absence, the empty space, the question mark where an answer used to be. But now, looking back, can you see the thread, the way one thing led to another? The way the path, as messy as it was, as winding and frustrating and heartbreaking as it was always taking you somewhere, not in circles, forward. Always forward, even when it felt like backward. That somewhere is here, not a destination you've arrived at, a launching point you've been prepared for. A threshold you didn't even know you were approaching until you felt the ground change beneath your feet. Here's what I need you to understand about the right time. The right time is not a date on a calendar. It's not a specific hour or a specific day or a specific alignment of planets. It's a condition in your spirit. It's the moment when the part of you that was still looking back finally faces forward. When the part of you that was still hoping for an apology from someone who will never give it finally releases the hope, not because you're bitter, but because you're free. When the part of you that was still waiting for permission to be happy finally gives itself permission without asking anyone else for their approval, that moment is not external, it's internal. It doesn't happen to you, it happens in you. And that moment for you is either here or very close. That's what you've been feeling. That's the shift in your chest. That's the restlessness that isn't quite restlessness. That's the anticipation that isn't quite anxiety. That's the knowing that something is different, even if you can't point to what. Not a prediction of an event, the arrival of a state of readiness, a state of openness, a state of being willing to receive without needing to control what receiving looks like. When the state arrives, the external world responds, not because it's magic, not because the universe is keeping score and decided you've suffered enough, because you're different, you're seeing differently, you're hearing differently, you're noticing the opportunities that were always there but invisible to your stressed, grasping, desperate, vigilant self. That self was looking for threats. It was scanning for danger. It was bracing for impact. And when you're bracing, you can't see the gift that's being handed to you because your hands are too busy protecting your face. That self has been retired, not fired, just not needed anymore. Not in this season, not in this version of your life. In its place is someone who can walk past a door and actually see whether it's open, not just assume it's locked because other doors have been. Someone who can hear an offer and actually consider it, actually let it land, instead of immediately distrusting it because offers have been withdrawn before. Someone who can receive a compliment without deflecting it, without explaining why they don't deserve it, without immediately pointing out their flaws to prove the compliment wrong. That someone is you now, not the you of 5 years ago, not the you of last year, the you of this breath, this moment. This version that has been forged in fires you didn't choose and emerged with a different kind of metal in your spine, and that someone is about to be surprised by how much the world has been waiting to say yes to them. How many doors have been held open patiently while you were still looking back? How many hands have been extended, waiting for you to stop clutching your own? Let me speak to the part of you that's skeptical, the part that's been burned before, the part that learned to expect the worst because the worst kept showing up, kept proving itself, kept confirming your worst fears. That part is not wrong. It was not wrong to build those walls. Those walls kept you alive. Those walls kept you functioning when functioning was the only option. Those walls gave you time to heal when you didn't even know you were bleeding. That part deserves gratitude, not shame. But here's the thing about walls. They keep things out, yes, but they also keep you in. They protect you from harm, but they also protect you from surprise, from joy, from the unexpected goodness that you stopped believing in because you couldn't afford to hope. That part of you is working with old data. The conditions have changed. You have changed. The people and circumstances around you have changed. The worst is not the only visitor anymore. It never was. You just couldn't see the others because you were too busy watching for the worst. There's a new energy at the door. Not a threat, not a test, not a trick. And this one, it's not here to take, it's here to give. Not because you earned it, not because you finally did everything right, because you stopped blocking it, because you got tired of blocking it, because blocking everything was exhausting, and somewhere along the way you let your arms drop, and in that dropping you made space for something to land. Think about the last time something good happened and you didn't trust it. You waited for the catch. You waited for the other shoe. You minimized it, explained it away, or immediately started worrying about how to keep it from leaving. That response was learned. It was trained into you by experiences that taught you that good things don't last, that joy is followed by loss, that hope is a setup for disappointment, that training is losing its hold, not because you're fighting it, because you're finally tired of fighting, because you're finally tired of living in the waiting room of your own life, reading old magazines, watching the clock, wondering when your name will be called. You want to step into the party. You want to feel the music. You want to be among the people who are dancing instead of the people who are waiting to be invited. And the party, it's been going on without you, not because you were excluded, because you didn't believe you belonged there. But there's still a seat at the table. There are many seats, and one of them has your name on it, not written in ink, carved by every hard thing you survived, every loss you integrated, every lesson you learned the hard way. That seat is yours. It has always been yours. You just couldn't see it from the waiting room. The surprise that's coming is not going to ask for your permission. It's not going to wait until you feel ready, until you've lost 5 pounds, until you've finished that project, until you've figured everything out. It's going to arrive probably when you're in the middle of something mundane, something ordinary, something you've done 1,000 times before, loading the dishwasher, walking to the mailbox, sitting in traffic, staring out a window, and it's going to ask you to respond, not with analysis, with presence, not with suspicion, with curiosity, not with a list of reasons it won't work, with a simple, quiet, okay, I'm listening. That's all you need to say. That's all you need to do. The rest will unfold. Not because you controlled it, because you got out of your own way, because you stopped being the obstacle, because you finally let the current carry you instead of fighting it with every muscle in your body. This is the part where I remind you of something you already know but keep forgetting because the world keeps telling you the opposite. You are not the author of the universe. You don't have to make everything happen. You don't have to force every door, push every agenda, convince every person, control every outcome. You just have to show up, stay open, say yes when yes feels true, say no when no feels true, and let the mystery do the heavy lifting. The mystery has been doing the heavy lifting all along. You just couldn't feel it because your hands were too busy trying to carry everything yourself. Your shoulders were too busy holding the weight of things that were never yours to carry. Your mind was too busy trying to solve problems that were never yours to solve. Put some things down. Let the mystery carry them. It's stronger than you think. It's been carrying planets and seasons and tides for billions of years. It can handle your situation. It has been handling your situation. You just haven't given it credit because you were too busy taking credit for the problems and blame for the solutions that didn't come fast enough. Does this land differently than what you're used to hearing? That shift in your chest, that slight loosening around your ribs, that sense that something in you is exhaling after holding its breath for way too long, that's not nothing. That's not your imagination. That's the sound of an old knot beginning to untie itself. A knot you tied so long ago you forgot it was there. a knot that has been restricting your breathing, your movement, your ability to receive. Let me know in the comments if you felt that, if something in you softened while you were reading these words. If you noticed a difference in your body, in your chest, in the way your shoulders are sitting right now compared to 10 minutes ago. I read every single one. And I know there are others right now reading this, feeling the exact same thing. That's not coincidence. That's the miracle happening already, the quiet one, the one that doesn't need a date on the calendar. The miraculous is not a lightning bolt. It's not a dramatic rescue. It's a sunrise, slow, gradual, unstoppable. And you have been sitting in the dark for so long that you forgot what dawn felt like. You forgot that the light doesn't arrive with a bang. It arrives with a glow, a softening of the horizon, a shift from black to gray to gold. You have been watching for fireworks when you should have been watching for the first hint of blue. But the light is coming over the horizon, not because you willed it, not because you finally said the right prayer or manifested the right vision board, because the earth keeps turning, because the night always ends, because you survived until morning. You kept breathing when breathing was hard. You kept putting one foot in front of the other when you couldn't see the path. You kept showing up to your own life even when your own life felt like a burden. That's not small. That's not ordinary. That's the foundation of every miracle that will ever touch your life. You stayed. You kept breathing. You kept showing up. And now the light is finding your face. Not because you earned it, because light falls on everyone eventually, even the ones who forgot they were worthy of it. So here's what you do between now and then. Nothing special, nothing dramatic. Just live, make breakfast, call your people, do the work that's in front of you, water the plant that's been neglected, take the walk you've been putting off. Let the anticipation be a background hum, not the main event. The main event is your life. The life you're living right now, in this ordinary moment, with these ordinary tasks and these ordinary breaths, is the soil where the miraculous grows. Don't neglect it while you're staring at the horizon, waiting for something to arrive. Water what's already in your hands. Tend what's already yours. The seeds you planted without knowing it are already growing, not because you watched them, because you planted them and walked away, because you trusted that the ground knows what to do. The ground knows. The ground always knows. The rest will come. It always does. Not because you chased it, because you became the kind of person who can recognize it when it arrives. And that person, you're already becoming them. With every breath, with every choice, with every moment you choose presence over panic, trust over control, openness over clenched fists. I don't sell futures, I build architects. No predictions, just the raw truth for the tough ones. Stay magic, stay in the now. Take care, Virgo.